Welcome everybody to the NuCalm family. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with you tonight. Also an honor and a privilege for you to bring NuCalm into your household, into your life, into your brain, into the brain of your spouses, your children, your parents, your family members. You're in for a treat. So I don't know when and how you brought NuCalm into your life, but it had to be in the last 11 weeks. So your curiosity is probably peaked. Your feeling and experience is probably profound, unique, different every time, and there's a lot we're going to discuss. I believe tonight will be recorded, so in the event that I speak too extemporaneously or use too many 50-cent words, you can go back, listen to it again, and pick out some jewels. So this company is beginning its 20th year, and when David said we have a small team, we have about 25 core team members that are on a mission to help 7.6 billion people. We're relatively outnumbered, but we have a really powerful technology that's predictable, safe, easy to use, and we've been honing our skills on the tech for about 30 years. This technology that is now in your possession was born out of the brain and the passion and the determination of Dr. G. Blake Holloway, a pioneering neuroscientist, quantum physicist, naturopath. About 20 years of invention went into this. And then, as Dave alluded to, in September of 2010, we launched to the medical community a $5,995 highly regulated class 3 medical device that was 4 components and a little more complex than what you have. But in essence, if you want to break it down to the core common denominator of what we're doing, we are managing your brainwave frequency. We are helping you relax when your brain really doesn't want to relax. If you look at the biorhythm of a human in a 24-hour period from wake up, from when the sun rises, your cortisol is at your highest level, and that's kind of your stress hormone, and your kind of monkey mind kicks in. And then as the day progresses, there's a biorhythm dip between 12 and 4 in the afternoon, sometimes commensurate with food and eating too much at lunch and the digestive process. And then when the sun goes down, your body should start winding down. So in that time of daylight, your brain is active. Well, we are going to slow you down in that time. So there's a couple of things that are a challenge for us. Number one, managing the human brainwave function is exceptionally ambitious and exceptionally difficult. If it took this really bright quantum physicist 20 years to figure it out, that gives you an idea of the meticulous design involved. And the second thing is simply inertia. It's easy to get amped up during the day. It's easy to have caffeine or any type of stimulant amp you up or exercise. It's not so easy to kind of slow yourself down. And people who try to meditate would understand this. It's really difficult to kind of slow down the monkey mind. So this product was designed with the outcome right out of the gate. And the outcome is to suspend your brainwave function into this sweet spot of healing. The first stage and the first part of the experience is alpha brainwave function. And all of this is difficult to articulate. There's no vernacular in the English language that really articulates well what the experience is. But fortunately, everybody on this call, you have experienced this. So you may not understand it, but you know experientially what's happening to you. In the first several minutes of NuCalm, your mind wanders. Nothing really happens. And then at some point, you'll feel a separation of your monkey mind, which is kind of on this nonlinear thinking pattern, and your body separates. And if you pay attention, your body starts to feel really heavy and your respiration slows down. That's you moving in from alpha and then into theta. Theta is a very deep state. It's just above deep sleep. In theta, you may be in and out of lucid dreaming. You're hovering just above sleep. You're in and out of maybe darkness where you don't even know where you go. If you are aware of your body and say you have an itch on your nose, it'd be really difficult to create the motivation to move your arm if you can even find your arm. So that's theta. How we do this? What are the mechanisms involved? Well, what you have in your possession is a 3-component system. And NuCalm, the desired outcome, is to suspend you in this healing state and allow your body to recover, restore on a cellular level for as long as you need it, when you need it in that day. The correlation between the time you're in NuCalm is direct to your current stress level, your nutrition, and your sleep quality. So some days you may be in NuCalm using Rescue 50 for 35 minutes. You may be in NuCalm using Rescue 70, like me tonight, for 51 minutes. That's a long NuCalm for me, but clearly I was tired. So the NuCalm experience, though the biochemistry and physics is going to do exactly to you that it does to me, that it does to everybody else on the planet, your experience and the time in that session is unique to you at this time in your life. Okay. So let's get into what we're doing and how we're doing it. In 2010, the expressed intent was to suspend your brainwave function into alpha and theta. Actually, you know what? Let me get a little deeper into alpha and theta first. When you think of brainwave function, let's think of caffeine. So you wake up, you're a little groggy, the alarm goes off, you hit snooze twice, your body feels lethargic, your joints are a little inflamed, you get to the bathroom, and you're kind of starting to get out of that fog and start your to-do list. Once you start your to-do list, your monkey mind and cortisol kind of accelerate, and you might be thinking a little clearly. But you go have your first cup of coffee. And within a couple sips of that coffee, you notice your neurons are firing faster. You're thinking a little more clearly. You're starting to get energized and things don't seem so insurmountable. That's simply increasing your brainwave frequency. So from maybe 13 hertz up to 16 to 17 hertz, the focus area for brainwave frequency is between 15 hertz and 20 hertz. So this is all frequency related, okay? Alpha brainwave frequency is a slower brainwave frequency than beta, and beta is alert. So alpha is 12 hertz to 8 hertz, all right? And in alpha brainwave function, there's a creativity, there's a sense of relaxation, maybe some inner peace, and it's also commensurate with transcendental meditation. So for those of you who are studied in the art of transcendental meditation, where your brainwave function goes to in that kind of still point is alpha brainwave function. Then we're going to take you down a little lower into theta. Theta is the healing zone. This is the coup de grace of the brainwave frequency over a 24-hour period. Why is that? When your brainwave function is in theta, your body is manifesting a certain characteristic that's really important. Number one, your cells are cleaning their toxins and doing their cellular maintenance. This is the only time in your 24-hour life cycle in a day that your cells clean their toxins. This is really important. Number two, your mitochondria and ATP is restored. This is the energy source for your cells. So your body has trillions of cells. Each cell has a defined role and a job to do. Over the course of our lifetime, 20 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old, and we're kind of pushing through and we're a type A personality. And, you know, when we're feeling like we need a break, we don't, we exercise, we get an espresso, we keep going, we run through walls and we challenge our resilience because our mind is writing checks our body shouldn't be cashing. Okay. But over the course of time, when we live in a cycle of high stress, poor sleep, when your cells don't clean their toxins, and this is a long-term issue, this isn't short-term. Say you work hard for 48 hours straight, you're not going to develop disease from 48 hours. But over the course of time, when you don't get that quality of sleep, specifically stage 2 of the sleep architecture, specifically theta brainwave function, your body begins to break down. So in theta, your cells clean their toxins, the ATP and mitochondria is restored. That's the cellular restoration and the key to the healing zone. So when you hear us talk about putting you into the healing zone, that's what we're talking about. But physically, when you get up from NuCalm, you feel very loose. Your shoulders feel lower. You feel more kind of attached to the ground, and you just feel relaxed. How did we do that? Because what's going on? It's simple. In theta, your body slows down. We're synchronizing your heart with your lungs. And when you feel your body separate, like the 10-minute mark of rescue, and you really start to fall into your bed, we're slowing you down. We're synchronizing your heart with your lungs, and we're allowing for diaphragmatic breathing. In fact, we're allowing for the most volumetric breath your body can absorb. Now, oxygen is the healing property of the human body, okay? So if we can slow you down, have you breathe one breath every 10 seconds, 6 breaths a minute, you win, because now your body will be filled with oxygen-rich red blood cells that can begin the healing property. So physically, you feel relaxed. This isn't magic. We simply oxygenated the entire ecosystem of your body. We flushed out lactic acid and we lowered inflammation. Great. That's the recovery piece on the physical side. But more importantly, the more you NuCalm, the more you're going to feel the sensation of exceptional clarity, optimism, feel really good, patient, present in the moment. Things that were bothering you don't bother you anymore. Chatter in your head. Most humans that I know have 5 or 6 conversations going on in their head at all times. When you get up from NuCalm, if you pay attention to it, there is no chatter. It's gone. Okay. What did we do? Again, it's not magic. We oxygenated the prefrontal and frontal cortex of your brain. This is the executive thinking, function, cognition, character, personality. This is what separates us from primates. Okay. We're not reptilian, limbic system, autonomic nervous system, brain dominant. Everything is up here. So if you oxygenate this area, you resolve the body's autonomic nervous system ability to sabotage our thinking, and we think clearly. So NuCalm is using biochemistry and physics to command this relaxation response in a simple, safe, predictable manner. Every human operates in the same manner. Your brain and your body communicate only 2 ways: biochemical and electrical signaling. That's it. There is no third way. There is no alternative. NuCalm uses biochemistry and physics. Biochemistry in the form of relaxing the adrenals to slow down adrenaline, and physics in presenting your brain with a pattern using this sophisticated neuroacoustic software. So the combination, those 3 components, are meticulously designed over 30 years of invention and 11 years of continuous product development and improvement to deliver one specific outcome. Suspend your brainwave function in theta, allow your body to heal for as long as it needs to heal, then you get up and you feel good. So we're imposing upon you as a human being for a 25, 35, 45, 55-minute time frame is the opportunity to unplug, to allow the body to create what's called homeostasis or balance and help you live a better life. Homeostasis or balance, what is that? Your body always wants that. Our monkey minds don't allow it. According to the monks, we have 1,000 thoughts an hour. For type A personality, it might be 1,500 thoughts an hour. Most of them are not our own. They originate externally. They're constantly moving. What happens when we're filled with this monkey mind is we're flushing cortisol and catecholamines and all these excitatory neurotransmitters, and we're constantly go, 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 but we're also breathing shallow. We are not getting the balance the body covets. NuCalm doesn't discriminate. It doesn't ask permission. It simply says, we're going to take a break right now. Whatever's plaguing you, whatever's challenging you, whatever obstacles are in your way, whatever's clouding your vision, making you impatient, making you agitated, we don't care. We're simply going to take you to a place, allow you to restore, recover, rejuvenate, and then get up and be on your way. It's incredible. It's an incredible gift to humanity. It's incredible complex science. I tell people, I said, don't allow these 3 components to belie the sophistication and meticulous design of 30 years of a neuroscience platform. The math and the physics and the algorithms and the biochemistry is incredibly complex. Great. But no one really cares. How do you use it? When do I use it? Why do I use it? What should I expect? And how much does it cost? That's what we've learned. That's what humans care about. And that's what we should care about. Unless you're, applied neuropsychobiologist or a statistical biophysicist, no one else really cares. So that's what we're doing. How to use it is completely up to you. I don't know your nutrition. I don't know your current stress level. I don't know if you're moving, you've had a deceased loved one, you're in a divorce, you're breaking up. We have no idea the external stress you're under, okay? We can suppose that it's pretty powerful stress considering the life we're living today as humans. We also don't know your nutrition. We don't know your history. We don't know your epigenetics. We don't know your predisposition to disease states. We don't know your immunosuppressive disease state. We don't know if cortisol has already interrupted your tummy and you have ulcerative colitis, irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease. There's a myriad of things that challenge the human condition. There's a few things that we know for sure. Number 1, the human body is a closed loop ecosystem, exceptionally good at compensation. You tweak one thing in the body or the brain sees that and compensates. You do another thing, sees it and compensates. This is the litany of taking drugs and seeing side effects in this cascade of events. The second thing we know that's irrefutable in the law of being human is that we can normalize the craziest experiences. We pretty much have normalized the unnormal now, right? 2021 in January, things are not normal. We're not even sure what the new normal will be. And the only thing today is uncertainty, right? So the body's ability to normalize crazy is powerful. but it's dangerous because then we think we don't need balance. We think we can just keep going and keep pushing. Well, the cellular breakdown of that mindset leads to adrenal fatigue and eventually cellular destruction and disease. When you look at the literature and it says 98% of all diseases are created by stress, that's how this happens. It's a prolonged systemic approach of breaking down the cellular structure because the cells don't clean their toxins, you don't get enough restorative sleep, you live in a high stress, poor sleep life cycle, and eventually you break down. We can't tell you what disease you're going to get. There's a lot of corollaries to what disease you're going to get, but we can tell you you will get a disease. That is anatomy of physiology. It's not up for debate. It's not up for hypothesis. It's simply anatomy. Okay. So, David, what I'd like to do now, if you don't mind, is walk down the three components that they're currently using in the NuCalm system. Is that okay?
You're the boss. Do it.
All right. So you have NuCalm. It came in a neoprene bag. I think I have one there behind me. And you opened up this Faraday bag, an anti-static bag, and there's a disc. Okay. This disc is the biochemistry component of NuCalm. You had an eye mask. Simple. You were visually stimulated by light. You can't relax, meditate, sleep with your eyes open. So there's an eye mask. And then there's the app. We're not an app company. We're not a music company. We're not a software company. We're a neuroscience company with a designed outcome and expressed intent to physiologically change your body every time you do NuCalm. How we go about this is constantly evolving. We are constantly investing money in making this easier, better, more effective, and a more enjoyable experience. So let's start with the disc. This is the biochemistry. What's the importance of the disc? The disc is designed to create a level playing field. Your body has a central nervous system and an autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system is really profound and it's 40 million years evolved. The autonomic nervous system, which also incorporates the limbic system, is our fight or flight response, but it also governs and oversees human fear, stress, anxiety, depression, and worry. Fear, stress, anxiety, depression, and worry. You think it's important in our humanity and how we exist every day? Yes. So the autonomic nervous system, which has a neuronal network and of all of this complexity, is 40 million years evolved. Your prefrontal cortex and your frontal cortex, your character, your personality, your logic, your executive functioning, the things that you do to operationalize your day, like get up and put your clothes on, that's 4 million years evolved. So we are fighting as humans a 36 million year head start from this saboteur called the autonomic nervous system that shows up and creates anxiety and depression and fear and worry. Okay, so that's what's happening inside our head, and that's the battle we all fight. Well, when your central nervous system knows that you're going to try something new you've never tried, or you're going to go in for a surgical procedure or a treatment or a medicament or anything, your central nervous system is really, really smart. It has one primary function: protect you, keep you alive. You can look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We can think about the psychology of needing intimacy in a social network. We can think of food and water and sex and all that stuff. It means nothing if you're not alive. So the central nervous system has one primary function above all: keep you alive. And so you're constantly evaluating your surroundings for safety, security, and familiarity. In doing so, when your central nervous system is unaware, is scared, perceives a threat, it activates the autonomic nervous system, that 40 million year reptilian side of our brain that manages the fight or flight system. So this disc represents the biochemistry with the expressed intent of slowing down your adrenals so that we put to rest that fight or flight mechanism. You can't really relax if you're in a high stress state. Okay, so that's what it's doing. How is it doing it? When we first started, Dr. Holloway knew the goal here is to slow your brainwave function down, present a beat to your brain that your brain follows. But in order to make a predictable, safe, fast acting, and deep experience, we have to manage the human body's adrenals. Your ability to resist through stress in this adrenal cortex is incredibly profound and different for all of us and different every day with what happens in our life. Today, you might be more stressed than yesterday. Yesterday, you might be less stressed. Who knows? Okay. So when we started, we said, hey, we have to present the brain with the body's natural occurring amino acid called GABA, gamma aminobutyric acid A and B. GABA has a very powerful primary function in the biochemistry of the brain. The GABA A receptor site is primarily responsible for anything biochemically that creates a relaxation response. It's called anxiolysis, anti-anxiety. What does that mean? In your brain, when you drink a sip of alcohol and you feel the weight of the world fall off and you're like, okay, life isn't so bad. That feeling doesn't happen because alcohol is magic. It happens because alcohol binds to the GABA A receptor site. Barbiturates bind to the GABA A receptor site. Benzodiazepines bind to the GABA A receptor site. The GABA A receptor site interrupts what's called the HPA axis, the hypothalamic anterior pituitary adrenal cortex. This disc binds the GABA A and GABA B, activates the GABAergic system, and slows down the adrenal cortex so you're not expressing a lot of adrenaline and creating a stressful response when we want you to relax. When we first came to market, we had 3 large chewable tablets. They were grotesque in size. Dave loved the flavor. There was a citric kind of feel to it, and there's also a Pavlovian feel to it, but you had to chew them up. We wanted sublingual absorption because we wanted them absorbed in the capillaries under your tongue so that they'd enter the bloodstream. So you chew and you'd hold these for 2 minutes and then you'd swallow it. Well, in looking at neurotransmitter panels and looking at the biochemistry, Dr. Holloway was wholly unimpressed with the inability of the body to absorb and actually activate the GABA that was in the tablet. So Dr. Holloway, like most inventors, moved to Russia. That's not like most inventors. I don't know any inventor that moved to Russia. Well, he moved to Russia. Why? To study cranial electrotherapy stimulation. Why? Because he knew there was a way to electrophoriate the cell wall membrane and open up the receptor sites to the nutrients in the chewable tablet. So this served as a catalyst. This is a ton of effort and a ton of work trying to trick the brain and figure out the best avenue to relax you without giving you cognitively impaired drugs and alcohol. That's what we started with. So when we came to market in September of 2010 with a highly regulated FDA class 3 medical device, it was a cranial electrotherapy stimulation device that was brain science. It basically created a low-level microcurrent that electrophoriated and lowered the cell wall membrane of the GABA A receptor site so the chewable supplement and the nutrients in the supplement worked. This is incredible. This is about 10 years of trial and error and figuring out all this chemistry, and we did it. But it was clumsy. So that was the origination of the biochemistry of NuCalm. About 5 years into this, as we're doing all these medical procedures, we're measuring everything. We're looking at galvanic skin response, blood pressure, heart rate, metabolic processing of local anesthesia, pulse oximetry, heart rate variability. We're seeing that asking a human being to chew something and hold it in their mouth for 2 minutes and ordering them and then tell them to swallow was actually creating an agitated response. We didn't like it. So for about 4 years, we worked with combinatorial chemists and chemists to figure out how do we create a transdermal cream that's highly absorbent, applied on the neck that has the same nutrients of the chewable supplement. So that's what we did. And 6 years ago, we launched a transdermal cream. But the cream, though it was more absorbent and brought more nutrients into the bloodstream, it still was challenged with the electrophoresis of the cell wall membrane, the blood-brain barrier, et cetera. So we needed the stimulation device. 5.5 years ago, we'd been using the cream for several years. Dr. Holloway began the next quest because we're ever perpetually evolving to make things easier. This is the result of 5.5 years of research and development. And essentially, it's using electromedicine. So for those of you familiar with Nikola Tesla or George Lakowski, electromedicine has been around since the 1920s and 30s, the 1920s and 30s, not 2020. It's 100 years evolved. And this disc looks like a sticker that you'd get out of a comic book. This is a highly, highly evolved, sophisticated piece of equipment. There's a 6-layer Lakowski multi-wave oscillator on top of this disc, holding a biostatic charge. So over the course of several years, Dr. Holloway figured out the exact frequency of the nutrients that were in the chewable tablet and then in the cream. We had created this cornucopia of really powerful inhibitory neurotransmitters, but how do we create it and put it into a software to imprint on a Lakowski multi-wave oscillator, apply it to your wrist, and activate it to your brain? That was the challenge, 5.5 years of work. He used German physicists and Chinese Shenzhen medicine experts to determine and validate the specific frequencies of GABA A, GABA B, L-theanine, casein tryptic hydrolysate, and L-tyrosine. That's what's on here. So this disc incorporates what used to be in a chewable tablet catalyzed by stimulation, then was in a transdermal cream catalyzed by stimulation. Now it resides on a disc. It's electromedicine, it's bioresonance, it's like a tuning fork. When applied accurately and appropriately to the pericardium 6, and the pressure point placement is important, it turns on in your Gauss field. You have an electromagnetism. This is electromagnetism, okay? It turns on and it simply presents your brain with a signal of GABA A. Now, your body is all resonance. Everything in life is vibration. Everything has a specific frequency. I look different today than I did yesterday. Why? Because I'm vibrating at a different frequency. So when the brain gets this presentation of GABA, this here begins to resonate at that frequency. This is frequency medicine, bioresonance, like a tuning fork. That's what we're doing with the disc. So we don't do anything lightly. We're very methodical in our approach, and we're a proven hardcore neuroscience company. This is our 20th year, okay? I got this in my possession on July 18th, 2018. This disc. Tried it, talked to Dr. Holloway, started the evolution and evaluation process. We have 52 medical advisors on our advisory board, including some of the best scientists in the world from NASA, from Harvard, the former medical director of the NFL, physicists from across the world. This group, we got the disc in their hands. We also work with 49 professional sports teams, 58 MMA, UFC fighters, USTA, golfers. We got this into the hands of our elite performers. And we also work with the active DOD, the military, special forces, the FBI, HRT. So what we did was we got this out there. And for them, as we were doing our medical evaluation on our internally, we simply said, this is what we want you to do. We want on day one for you to use the cream and the stimulation device. On day 2, use the disc. On day 3, use the cream and stimulation device. On day 4, use the disc. On day 5, use the cream and stimulation device. You get the point? Looking at HRV, looking at heart rate, blood pressure, whatever thing you wanted to look at, cortisol levels, it didn't matter. Everyone had their different medical practice and their different ideas of how to evaluate technology quantitatively. To a person, over 1 year we did this. Not one person came back and said the disc was less effective. There were times where it was the same efficacy, but it was never less effective. On July of 2019, a year later, we launched the disc, and thus allowed us the opportunity to create a more portable and eventually more affordable version of NuCalm. This is simply the biochemistry aspect of NuCalm. With this disc, what you get is a very predictable, fast-acting, and deeply relaxing and restorative experience with NuCalm. This is a facilitator and a catalyst to ensure that every time you NuCalm, in the 9th minute, your brainwave functions at a certain mathematical frequency. In the 12th minute, your brain's at a certain mathematical frequency. This allows the predictability of the NuCalm experience. This is a systematic approach. Remember, your brain and body communicate only 2 ways, biochemical and electrical. So we're going to use both channels to create this intention of taking you to the healing zone. That is the path of the disc. Now, this is a platform technology. This is a new way to create or present nutrients to the body. We're doing some really cool, fantastic research, some with the DOD, around really complex ways to deliver different nutrients to the body. Okay, so that is incredible, really cool, but really it's easy to use and it's effective. The second component is an eye mask. That's really simple. Close your eyes, but even when you close your eyes, light will permeate your eyelids. So put that eye mask on. It's very helpful and it's part of the process. The third component of NuCalm is the most complex part. We are going to entrain or pace your brainwave function into alpha and theta. We're going to use the auditory motor cortex. We're going to use your ears as a carrier signal to present your brain with a pattern. And the sophistication of the neuroacoustic software that lies underneath the music is incredible. What do we have in there? We have mathematics, we have a pitch and frequency matrix, we have binaural signal processing, we have nonlinear oscillating algorithms, we have vibrational patterns, we have a cornucopia of amazingly complex mathematics and software. Why? Because we are designed and expressly intended to pace your brain, the most sophisticated organ in the history of this planet, to this deep state of alpha and theta. And we're going to do it every single time. If you had a QEEG on you in NuCalm and you use Rescue 50, at minute 17, we know where your brainwave function is. It's at 4.0 hertz, just above deep sleep. At minute 12, we know that you're at 11 hertz because we're stepping you down into theta. At minute 47, we know that you're at 9 hertz because we're bringing you back up. All of this is mathematics. That's why I said earlier, NuCalm does the exact same thing to every human being on earth. It's just how you interpret the experience, how you respond to relaxation, and how you kind of deal with the journey of liberating your subconscious and allowing your body and mind to heal. That's up to you. That's the personalization of the experience. But the mathematics and the actual experience is identical to every human being on earth. All right. So we have this complex software. Great. You want to know what it sounds like? It sounds awful. It sounds like this. Quite agitating. So we get the software. We say, Dr. Holloway, what we'd like is a 50-minute process. We'd like a 16-minute down ramp because the central nervous system will not allow us to simply go from beta or alert or stress into theta. That will not happen. So we have to step you down. So when I said earlier, the first several minutes, nothing's really happening, you're right, it's not. We have to prepare you for the journey of healing and getting into theta. So for the first several minutes, we go from 13 hertz down to 9 hertz, up to 12 hertz, down to 11 hertz, up to 13 hertz, down to 8 hertz. And it's this step, okay? It's a little game to simply say to your central nervous system, everything's safe, everything's gonna be okay. And at the 16-minute mark, you are on the floor of deep theta. You won't know that that's the exact 16 minutes, but if you're paying attention and you haven't passed out yet, you'll feel this big separation. People liken it to getting on an escalator or getting on an elevator and literally just going down, all right? That's theta. And then you're in theta on the 50-minute rescue track, you're in theta for 30 minutes straight, 30 minutes of the deepest recovery restoration on a cellular basis your body can absorb. It's incredible, incredibly powerful. Then the last 4 minutes, we take you back up. All right. So each track is meticulously designed for this whole journey. We have the down ramp, we have the theta, and we have the up ramp. All right. So there's a neuroacoustic software platform. Then on top of that, we ask our musical engineer to compose music specifically with the math. He calls this neurosurgery. It takes 6 to 9 months to create a single track. Why is that? There's a mathematical matrix that we present to him with the raw file. And we say at minute 1, the pitch is 161 and the frequency is 13.2 hertz. You have to compose the music using an ancient solfeggio music scale with the mathematics. So that's the specificity of what we're doing. People, many people have never heard what we do. Why? Because we're playing in ancient solfeggio music scales that predate contemporary music. Okay. But also people are like, yeah, I don't really like environmental sounds. I don't really like that. No, the music is simply to create an enjoyment or distraction. We're presenting your brain with software. We are pacing your brain like a NASCAR pace car into alpha and theta. You cannot use your own music. You will defeat 80% of the opportunity to get into the healing zone. Music by itself cannot take you into theta. Not now, not ever. It doesn't work that way. Cortisol, catecholamines in your monkey mind will disallow that. So the importance of NuCalm is the combination of the biochemistry and the biosignal processing disc, the iMask, but you have to use the neuroacoustic software. That's what we're doing. That's the whole trick here, is to get your brainwave function into that sweet spot. So there are 3 different categories, okay? There is recharge, rescue, and reboot. Rescue is the coup de grace. Rescue has everything we've ever learned in 30 years of invention, 11 years of being on the market, evaluating this with everybody you can think of, from active military to pilots to cancer patients, to people with multiple sclerosis, to addicts, to veterans, to professional athletes. Everybody we've ever looked at, we're creating the best of the best. Rescue is that category. I personally don't use other categories that much because if I'm going to spend 30, 40, 50 minutes of my day and sacrifice that time, I want the best the world has to offer. And Rescue is the most sophisticated, best neuroacoustic software, physics, algorithms, mathematics, and music ever created on Earth. So I'm going to go with that. Rescue 50 is incredible. Rescue 70, 100, and 120 are my favorites. They are specifically designed for this express journey, and they literally have everything we've ever learned in this. And in it is a journey of 70 minutes, 16-minute down ramp, 50 minutes in theta, 50, and then 4-minute up ramp. According to our research with Dr. Chung Kang Pang and Norton Huang, the Fields Medal honor from NASA and the world's leading statistical biophysicists, had nothing to do with us. Looking at biophysical measures in HRV, they determined that 20 minutes of NuCalm was equivalent to 2 hours of restorative sleep. Not 2 hours of sleep, 2 hours of the most restorative, healthy, recuperative sleep you can get. This is hugely important. Every minute you're in theta, your body's restoring at a level you'll never get to on your own. Period. Maybe some monks get there. We're not getting there. So ideally, you're going to want to use Rescue. Reboot is a kind of doesn't take you into the deepest theta. It actually hovers around the Schumann resonance, which is great and really powerful and helps with creativity and a sense of calm and inner peace. When you've done NuCalm for several weeks to a month, you might want to play with Reboot. But for the most part, early on when you get NuCalm, stick to Rescue, because we have a lifetime of built up stress and poor sleep to deal with and to fix you and to get your autonomic nervous system in balance. Give us that opportunity to get our best to help you be your best. Recharge, 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 recharge. Recharge was the manifestation of the research that I shared with you. Dr. Pang and Dr. Huang determined that 20 minutes of NuCalm was equivalent to 2 hours of restorative sleep. In 2017 and 18, our team went to the Consumer Electronics Show, the largest trade show in the world, in Las Vegas. We set up a huge booth. We had 24 NuCalm stations, and we NuCalmed 1,847 people in 3 days, and we were awarded or won the best of CES, the largest trade show in the world. Our small little neuroscience company won with 4,200 vendors and 182,000 attendees. How did we do that? We don't have any marketing dollars. All of our money goes into research and development. How do we do it? It's simple. We had huge banners, and it said, get 2 hours of restorative sleep in 20 minutes with NuCalm. Well, when you're in Vegas, being overstimulated in the Sands Convention Center or the Vegas Convention Center, you're malnourished, you're jet lagged, you're overstimulated, and you're hungover. That's what you want. So that's what we did. But what was interesting is we didn't time people. We didn't put you on a 20-minute track. We didn't have one. So you go into NuCalm and you get out and you're like, wow, that's the fastest 20 minutes ever. But it wasn't. You were in there for like 56 minutes. What? So I remember talking to Dr. Holloway at that meeting. He says, Doc, this isn't equating in the human brain. Okay, we are prone to what we see, and what we see, we believe. So if you tell me 2 hours of restorative sleep in 20 minutes, why am I in there for 46 minutes? I said, you got to build us a track that's 20 minutes. And he looked at me and says, I can't do that, Jim. There's no way that the brain will allow me to take you in this, accelerated loop down into theta. It just won't work that way. So don't ask me things that we can't accomplish. Okay, fine. Yes, you can. So about 7 months later, he came to the world with the 20-minute power nap. That's what we called it. Okay. This is a concentrated version of NuCalm and should only be used when literally all you have is 20 minutes in the day. 20 minutes is only 1/72nd of your day. I believe you've got more than that to take care of yourself, to balance your autonomic nervous system, to resolve your stress, lower your inflammation, increase your resilience, improve your sleep quality, make you more patient, make you more clear-headed, make you more physically active. I think you have more than 20 minutes in a day to do that. But we built this recharge track because what we found years ago, and David and I and Monica and Eric and our team, we've been all over the globe. We've NuCalmed thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people. And if you say to a stranger, hey, do you have 30 minutes? I want to show you NuCalm. They panic. You can see it in their eyes. They're like, I don't have 30 minutes. I'm way too busy. I can't tell you why this psychology works, but if you said to someone, "Do you have 20 minutes?" They always say yes. So a lot of this had to do with the nature of being human and thinking that our to-do list is more important than us, right? We've got to get this done as opposed to taking care of us. That is the genesis of the recharge tracks. It is a concentrated version of NuCalm Rescue to use only when time is constrained. It is not to use as your regular habit because you're jipping yourself. You're not getting enough theta deep restoration in the recharge track because it's physiologically impossible. The down ramp is shorter. It's 9 minutes instead of 16, but you're not going to get enough. So use Rescue. I recommend 70, 100, and 120. They are the most incredible, fantastical experiences I've ever had. And I've been using NuCalm on a daily basis for 11 years. You do not need to be in it for the duration of the time period. 70 minutes, 100 minutes, 120 minutes. If I'm NuCalm for 120 minutes after 11 years of using NuCalm, I'm dying. That's not a good sign. I'm never going to be in there for 2 hours. Today I did NuCalm 70 for 51 minutes. I had no idea where I went. I was in and out of lucid consciousness and just gone. I was exhausted. Okay, great. I feel great now. So use Rescue for the first several weeks to the first several months. Get used to when to use it, how to use it, what feels good, what doesn't feel good. We recommend using it in the prime time for NuCalm is between 12 and 4 when your biorhythm naturally takes a cognitive dip. You're not thinking as clearly. Things start to look a little bit more insurmountable. You might start feeling overwhelmed and lethargic at the same time. That's NuCalm time. If you can't fit it into your schedule, get up a little earlier or just do it in the morning. The difference will be this. In the afternoon, when you NuCalm, you're already hovering at 13, 14 hertz. You're already slow. We're just going to take you down and you're probably going to fall in and out of sleep there. When you do it in the morning, your cortisol level is the highest in the morning of the entire 24-hour biological clock. Okay. It needs to wake you up from deep sleep. So when you do NuCalm in the morning, your cortisol, you're probably not going to fall back into sleep. If you do, you're exhausted and you didn't get enough sleep. But for the most part, you're just going to lie there and enjoy this experience. You're kind of floating like in a float tank without the water. So those are the times to do it. The three categories: recharge is a concentrated version of rescue, reboot is for creativity, feeling calm, inner peace, and stress management, and rescue is designed to take care of humanity, period. We built the Rescue 50 tracks expressly for stage 4 cancer, as we believe in our work and all the stuff we've done, that's the highest profile of the stress experience for humans. So that's how you do NuCalm.
Excellent. Thank you, Jim. That was a very concentrated 20 minutes. I don't know if
Much like NuCalm, you'll never know how long I speak. I think it's at least 30 to 40 minutes.
all right. So all joking aside, let's hustle through these questions. People spend a lot of time and energy submitting questions. We'll make sure we get to as many as we can. So let's start with Heather. When you don't reach your natural wake state at the end of a session, what is the recommended time to extend this session? I worry about it making me feel more tired, like I'm waking up in the middle of a REM cycle.
It's a great question. And I love the fear, worry, and anticipatory anxiety about what can be. Your brain knows exactly what it needs, when it needs, how it needs. You can't define it. You can't put a time limit on it. And you certainly can't set an alarm for it. Much like when you eat, your body gets sated. You know when you're done eating. We can't tell you how long the next piece of NuCalm would be. But what you could do is when you do Rescue 70, 100, 120, you give yourself enough runway, you're going to reach your natural endpoint. When you reach your natural endpoint, there's no opportunity for lethargy or mental fog. It doesn't exist. Why? Because you're fully restored. It's like that little button on a turkey. I have no idea when or why it pops up. It just pops up when it's done. Okay, that's the same thing with reaching your natural endpoint. So if you get done with NuCalm and you're like, I'm not ready, just pick another track and go again. Ideally, though, remember this: each track is specifically designed for a down ramp, the healing, and the up ramp. So if you chose to do, hey, I'm going to do 100 minutes, I want to do 2 successive 50 minutes, don't do that. Choose the Rescue 100. Why? Because Rescue 100 has a 16-minute down ramp, 80 minutes on the floor, and 4 minutes up. 250s have 16 down, 30, 4 up, 16 down, 30, 4 up. So you're jipping yourself of the high quality restorative theta brainwave function. So don't be concerned. Don't worry about it. Your body and brain know exactly what it needs from NuCalm. It'll take what it needs. And when you're done, you simply become lucid, you become aware of your surroundings. You may even become bored. That's when you know, hey, I'm done. Listen, we know the chemistry, we know the physics, we know the outcome. We know, studying the Chicago Blackhawks and stage 4 cancer and thousands of people, we know that every minute we're in theta, our body is healing, our longevity is improving, our resilience is improving, our immune strength is improving. We are healing. Every minute we're not in NuCalm, cortisol is breaking down our cell structure and we are dying. I would love to be in NuCalm for 20 hours a day. You can't do it. Your brain simply says, I'm done. You get up.
Excellent. Question from Sarah. The first and third times I did NuCalm, both in the afternoon, I fell asleep briefly toward the end, but the second time in the early morning after a very poor night of sleep, I didn't fall asleep at all. My mind was kind of racing all 3 times. Curious what it means if you don't fall asleep. What's your natural set point in that case?
Awesome. NuCalm is not a sleep aid. NuCalm is not designed for you to fall asleep. You should not fall asleep. If you are balanced, if you are in good health, homeostatically in balance, you should not fall asleep. But fear not. We've done enough research on all walks of life. Every human being we've done research on falls asleep. Why is that? We're levitating you literally just above sleep. So we're putting your brainwave function just above sleep. And what we have found is about 10 years and over, after puberty, all this cortisol and catecholamines and hormonal dysregulation and circadian rhythm disruption and alcohol abuse and jet lag and malnourishment and technology, we're a mess. We're all tired. So everybody dips in and out of sleep. We don't want you to fall asleep. You may not even think you fell asleep, but if you're NuCalming and your family's around, they'll be like, hey, you were snoring for 20 minutes and you don't even know you were asleep. So you're not supposed to fall asleep. If you fall asleep, we can't help that. But we've noticed that when people do fall asleep, they kind of come out of sleep and they pick up in the entrainment and they get back into that theta state. In the morning, your cortisol level is at the highest. So even if you didn't sleep well that night, once light comes, stimulates, your body activates and cortisol starts flushing through your body, good luck trying to fall back to sleep. It doesn't really work that way. So that's normal. So your experience is exactly what it should be.
Great. This one's from Ishan, and forgive me, Ishan, if I mispronounce your name. He's got quite a few questions. He's a regular user and is very curious. So I'm still confused about the difference between reboot and rescue. I think we've answered that. How are the differences since there seem to be some overlapping uses?
Awesome. So when we designed this, we designed it for a general human. Okay. So from 3 years old to 103 years old, of all walks of life. But we have opportunities to create different outcomes that may eventually become part of a habit. The reboot is really the Schumann resonance, which is 7.83 hertz. So for those of you familiar with Nikola Tesla, the Schumann resonance, some of the cardiovascular literature that showcases the magnetic rotation of the earth has a balanced approach to our body, our genes, our DNA, etc. This is a healthy area for your brain to be in, but it's not as deep and cellular restorative. So there is some overlap. It's true. Reboot and rescue, there is some overlap. Both of them are taking you on this pattern, but where reboot slows down and stays at high theta, rescue goes into deep theta. This difference, this is reboot and this is rescue, okay? So we definitely would recommend using rescue for most of the time out of the gate, your first several weeks to month or two. Then feel free to explore with reboot. Definitely feel free to play with reboot if you're in the creative arts, if you're a writer, musician, actor, director, etc. It's more on the creative side, less on the healing side. David?
Sorry about that. I was toggling between mute and my cheat sheet here. These are back with Ishan again. Rescue has sleep prep listed under it. Does that mean it can be used right before bed? Can NuCalm be used to induce sleep?
The answer is yes, and the recommendation is no. So unless you have major sleep issues and a history of insomnia and are really on the verge of cellular breakdown, mental breakdown, emotional breakdown, psychosis, neurosis, sociopathology, Don't use NuCalm as a sleep aid. For the most part, most of us may have poor sleep habits, but we're not in that place of dangerously poor sleep. NuCalm, 20 minutes is equivalent to 2 hours of restorative sleep. 20 minutes, 2 hours of restorative sleep. So if you NuCalm for 40 minutes, it's equivalent to 4 hours of restorative sleep. Why on earth would I want to take a 4-hour power nap before bed? I wouldn't. I NuCalmed an hour ago. I feel incredible. I will work probably till 12 or 1 tonight. If I NuCalmed earlier in the day, I'd have less energy and I'd go to sleep earlier. So we do not advise NuCalm as a sleep aid. NuCalm helps improve sleep quality, but is not a sleep aid. There are people that we work with who have terminal illnesses or in the 80s and 90s of their life and literally they're sleeping like 2 hours a night. Yes, in that event, contact us and we'll walk you through some sleep protocols to help you resolve this. And it's kind of a trial and error because everybody's different and the complexities of sleep and compromised sleep are incredible. The variables are incredible. So for the most part, use NuCalm from when you wake up to about 7 o'clock at night, knowing that when you NuCalm that night, you should sleep better. Okay.
Back on. I often don't fall asleep during NuCalm. We answered that one. Sometimes I feel quite sleepy after my NuCalm session. Does that mean I should do a second session?
Yes, it does. When you get out of NuCalm and you are lethargic after like 2 or 3 minutes, your body knows what it needs, period. When you walk into a restaurant and you crave a hamburger, it's not because the hamburger looked good on the menu. Your brain needs protein. Your body knows what it needs. So if you get out of NuCalm after you've had this incredibly deep restorative experience and you're still mentally lethargic and you want to go back to sleep, go back to sleep. That's what I would do. Or go back to NuCalm. The more you do NuCalm, the more balance we provide for your autonomic nervous system. The more balance the autonomic nervous system, the better you manage stress. The better you manage stress, the better you sleep. When we reverse this cycle of high stress, poor sleep, high stress, poor sleep, high stress, poor sleep, we put you in a place of balance, homeostasis, and autonomic nervous system survival. Okay. You're going to feel good. You're going to be present. You're going to have more energy. You're going to have a different appetite. You're not going to be stressed. You're not going to be reaching to things that aren't good. Your vices won't call to you as much as they do. There's a lot of things that are going to happen when you take stress out of the equation, but it takes time. You got to this place in your life through accumulation of stress and substance abuse and whatever it is that we do to get through life. You're here now. You just got NuCalm. Give it the opportunity, use it on a regular basis, and it will balance your autonomic nervous system. From there, you use it as you see fit. But if you get up from NuCalm and you're still lethargic, get back in NuCalm until you're ready to get up.
Is it recommended to simultaneously combine NuCalm with other modalities such as Apollo Neuro that might be synergistic? I'm concerned the body could get confused.
Great question. NuCalm balances the autonomic nervous system. Okay. We're not going to talk a lot of science and validation and methods, but NuCalm was awarded the only patent in the world for maintaining and balancing the health of the human autonomic nervous system, lowering stress and improving sleep quality without drugs. By virtue of that statement, the 4.5-year patent process and the stamp by the USPTO, there's not another company in the world that can make that same claim. Nobody does what we do. No one's proven it, and there's no 20-year neuroscience companies in the world that can do what we do. What we do is we lower the stress response. We take the body from this position and we put it to this position. We've done over 1,600,000 surgical procedures. When you put the body in this state, everything is more permeable. Why? Because your body is not resisting. You're not metabolizing through anything. So you can use NuCalm in conjunction with anything. Just be aware. When you do NuCalm and then you do something like a recreational drug or anything, your body is more permeable, it absorbs more, it'll be more powerful, okay? You can use this and you can stack it with any other biohack you want. You're gonna find it to be very synergistic. The body does not get confused. All we're doing is putting the brakes on the sympathetic nervous system and lowering your stress response. We use NuCalm in conjunction with chemotherapy. You need less chemotherapy. We use it with dialysis. You need less dialysis. Why? Because the body's not metabolizing and fighting through the medicament. It's actually embracing it and creating a more permeable environment for that body to absorb whatever it is you want to absorb. We do this with psychotherapy. When you are plagued and you have neurosis, sociopathology, psychopathology, whatever it is, nobody likes to go see a stranger and become vulnerable in a chair in a psychotherapist's office. There's a ton of anticipatory anxiety, shame, guilt, all this stuff, all here. When you NuCalm first, it washes it all away. So you can actually get to your work. We do a ton of work with physical therapy, chiropractic, and cranial sacral therapy. Why? Because when you go in for a massage, by the 50th minute, your brain finally starts to relax and the body relaxes. Well, NuCalm relaxes you at a global motor cortex level. It goes right to the source of the stress and relaxes you. So if you do this in conjunction, that therapist, whatever it is, can get to the core really quickly. Great question, by the way.
Is it recommended to use NuCalm right after a meal when there's a bit of an energy slump?
It doesn't really matter. NuCalm is going to accelerate the rest and digest. So when you get up from NuCalm, you should probably have to pee almost every time you get up from NuCalm. We are simply, if you think through physiologically where you're in parasympathetic dominance, it's hard to articulate again, but we know when we're sympathetically driven. That's most of the time. We know when our mind is racing. We know when our to-do list is bothering us. We know when we feel agitated, overwhelmed, impatient. That's life. That's the sympathetic nervous system. But the parasympathetic nervous system is dominant when you've ingested too much food and the blood flow goes from the brain to the gut to metabolize and digest the food. You could double down and do NuCalm after a meal. That's fine. What you do want to do, though, is if you can drink a glass of electrolytes and create electrophoresis and better electrical stimulation, that's actually advantageous to the NuCalm experience. I don't know, to each his own, but this does accelerate the rest and digest side, and it will accelerate your digestive issues. And we do tell people, say, please use the restroom before you do NuCalm because we are accelerating the rest and digest aspect of your body.
When I'm tired and lethargic in the afternoon, what is the best program to use?
If you have limited time, do recharge. If you have maximum time, do rescue. Period. That's, typically I think our team, we don't talk about it a lot because we're busy working and saving the world, but I think we all have found our own biorhythm. I use it when I can't think anymore, when I know that my inefficiencies are plaguing me, when I look at an email, like, I don't even know how to start this email. Then I know mentally I just need it and I crave it. I'm like, okay, I can't wait to NuCalm. For me, it's usually in the afternoon. But when I do it, I do rescue because I want to go the deepest and the fastest. Listen, if it takes me 37 minutes instead of 20, I'm going to take that extra 17 minutes because I learned years ago, if I invest 30 minutes in NuCalm, it repays me with 10, 12, 13 hours of exceptionally clear, productive, positive mental acuity and physical relaxation. I'm a better human being and I perform better, and it allows me as a tool to perform better. So take the extra time, use the rescue, and enjoy the benefit.
If I have not slept well and wake up too early, would NuCalm for 120 minutes be a good option to compensate for the sleep I lost?
We do a ton of work on sleep debt. Everybody, like I said, that we know isn't managing stress well and isn't sleeping well. Listen, we work with monks. Our technology chills monks out. All right. Humanity has a problem when that's the reality that we live in. Okay. So there's no judgment here. Nobody's managing stress well. Nobody's sleeping well. The body can never make up sleep debt. It is physiologically impossible, but it is not an impossibility for biochemistry and physics to make up sleep debt. So absolutely, if you wake up and you don't get enough sleep, get on NuCalm 40 minutes, 60 minutes. Every 20 minutes is 2 hours of restorative sleep. This is kind of the aha cathartic moment that a lot of our users have. It's usually jet lag related. I remember when the Blackhawks went to Sochi, there was 5 players went to Sochi for the Winter Olympics. They had been using NuCalm for a while. It wasn't until they got there and in the locker room with the Canadian team and the Swedish team, they were the only ones without jet lag. Then they were like, they called the trainer of the Blackhawks, this is unbelievable. So it will absolutely augment and make up sleep debt. But here's the caveat. NuCalm is not designed to replace sleep. You want to get as much sleep as possible. There are many times that we can't. In the event you can't, you use NuCalm as an augmentation to make up that sleep debt. Absolutely, and it will never let you down.
Okay, we're moving on from the novel from Ishan, and Charmaine has several questions. I have just 4 meditation options that pop up in my app. I thought there were more options than these, but I'm fine with just the 4. She's referring to the journeys, and they're not meditation options, Charmaine. Are these curated for me based on the needs, desires as specified in my initial survey? Do they change based upon my responses after each session? Are the options updated as new material becomes available?
Awesome. That's a great question. We are reverse engineering the mass customization and specificity of what we deliver. The reason we're capturing data from you before and after is we want to understand what tracks on a meta-analysis basis people are using and for what purpose, not for the present and to reverse engineer, but for the future. So we're always capturing real-time research and data from our user experience to help us with future development. NuCalm doesn't have to have specificity. It simply needs to put you in a state of healing. You are the unique variable to NuCalm. Every individual that does NuCalm is a unique variable to NuCalm. You are the only variable. The system itself is static and designed and a cookie cutter. It does the same thing to every human being. The math of recharge, the math of reboot, and the math of rescue is exactly the same. Your brain goes to the same place. How you interpret it, what's important to you, your stress level, nutrition, anxiety, fear, depression, worry, and sleep, that's the variable. So today, we have hours upon hours upon hours of the most sophisticated algorithms and neuroacoustic software ever created. It's a huge library. You're never going to get bored of it because half the time you're in and out of lucid consciousness. You don't hear half the stuff anyway. But in the future, we're going to take the data that you're sharing with us in the thousands and thousands and thousands of customer data and the millions of uses that we're seeing, and we're going to use that data to build new outcomes.
I intend to fly. Tell me about the use of NuCalm during flights.
With a plane, or she's going to jump in the air off a building? What's her intention? She's going to learn to fly?
Plane. Yeah, I'm guessing you can't do NuCalm for jumping off a building.
She intends to fly, and the question is, she wants to use NuCalm for flight?
During flights, correct.
During flights. Well, I think if you surveyed most of the users that have been using NuCalm for the last 11 years, they will tell you that air travel, jet lag remediation, and just general feeling good despite transcending time zones, that's a really cool kind of miracle magic element to NuCalm. So absolutely, you're going to use NuCalm on a flight. We have a whole travel protocol. It's really straightforward. We have a jet lag protocol, but you want to use NuCalm in flight for as long as possible. Do not drink alcohol. Alcohol suspends your brainwave function in alpha. Alcohol, creates dehydration and also impacts jet lag. Drink a lot of water, hydrate, and use NuCalm on your flight, and you will not be disappointed. You'll feel amazing, and it'll help time go by faster.
Our friend Charmaine also intends to have surgery. So tell me about the use NuCalm pre-op and post-op.
Pre-op, so don't forget peri-op. You can do this during surgery, depends on what the surgery is. So the pre-op piece is awesome. Your brain knows you're having surgery. So whenever it is. So say you're on the calendar for February 20th. Maybe 3 weeks before you start getting anticipatory anxiety, your sleep starts getting compromised, your central nervous system knows something bad is coming, okay? And it's designed to protect you. You want to use NuCalm all the time leading up to it. The more you can slow down cortisol, manage stress, the more you lower inflammation. The more you lower inflammation, the more you lower the cytokine storm and the healing process post-surgery. Also, the more you negate blood and pus and all the body's natural elements to fight a surgical intervention, you're going to be in a better place. So pre-surgery, do it every day. Post-surgery is just, it's a gift from heaven. Do NuCalm every day. Your surgeons will not believe the healing process. And it's really simple. There's a direct relationship between stress and the longevity and complexity of the healing process. When you lower the stress response, you lower the inflammation response. When you lower the inflammation response, you facilitate the rapidity of the healing process. We do this a ton. I mean, we work with 49 professional sports teams. They're all surrounded by the best doctors. They all have the best things on the planet. We work with the best athletes in the world. They're all hurt. They all have contusions. Some of them have concussions, lacerations. They're always kind of being bumped, bruised, beaten up. NuCalm is a gift to help them heal. It helps them get back to their performance faster. The nagging injuries go away more, the concussive stuff they heal faster from. It's all about the healing process, and it's all about managing the stress response.
Lastly, from Charmaine, explain the potential impact of stacking a NuCalm experience with microdose psilocybin. Would one attempt these in tandem, follow one experience with the other, confirm that the combination of these would further enhance and improve the helpful neural pathways that NuCalm seeks to utilize?
So Charmaine's a flyer. She's a surgical victim, and she's a psilocybin mushroom adventurist. Recreational drugs and NuCalm have a profound synergistic impact. Never do the recreational drug first and then NuCalm. NuCalm will override anything that you do. Any caffeine, any methamphetamine, anything you do, NuCalm will make you straight. NuCalm doesn't think the biochemical stuff. NuCalm goes right to the brainwave source of your body. So NuCalm will override anything you do. However, if you want to create a better experience, a more permeable experience, do NuCalm first, then engage in whatever you want to do. Just use less of a dose than you normally would do, because the body is more permeable, and go on your journey. After you're done whatever journey you're done with, and maybe you're fatigued or maybe you're hungover, then do NuCalm. Hangover, specifically from alcohol, is the result of your frontal cortex just being flooded, okay? NuCalm resolves that through oxygen-rich red blood cells, pushing it out. So this lactic acid in your head and all the stuff that creates the headache, like a battle axe in your forehead from alcohol, NuCalm helps, it goes away, period. So NuCalm is awesome for hangovers, and it's an awesome preamble for whatever kind of adventure you want to go on.
Jim, can you explain the Faraday cage the biomedical patches are stored in? Are these protected inside the package, even if stored next to my phone, modem, electrical outlet, magnets, etc.?
Great question. I love the utilitarian application here. Absolument, which is French for absolutely. That Faraday bag is very complex. It looks really simple. It's not. It's an anti-static bag with full protection. You keep it in that bag. We've seen 7 years right now in a longitudinal study of the efficacy. We don't believe that the software diminishes at all. In that bag, it'd probably be in there for 100 years and be safe. You can put it through anything, okay? When you take this out of the bag, this is very, very vulnerable. So if I applied it, I don't have a accelerometer on here, but if I applied it on this wrist here, and I had an iWatch with an accelerometer and EMFs that are pulsing through my body every 4 seconds, not good. It'll erase the signature frequencies on here. If I take the disc and put it against a computer, absolutely not good. When you measure EMFs, computers have some of the most EMFs coming out. So in the bag, absolutely safe, secure, longevity, awesome. Out of the bag, be very careful. Just put it on your wrist. You can take your watch, Garmin, Whoop, whatever you have, diagnostic, and put it on your right wrist, and you do NuCalm. You're fine. Just don't be touching it and banging up against things. So there you go. Keep it in that bag. It's awesome, protective, and it'll take care of the discs.
Okay, this question, a line of questions from Megan. I know how incredible your technology is. I love my NuCalm. I've never been able to meditate because I'm so sound sensitive that I couldn't relax. Listening to NuCalm takes the stress out of doing it right. Thank you for that. I'm a mom who feels like I carry the weight of the world on my shoulders. My question to you is, knowing how great your technology is, can you develop a program that can help enhance confidence, positive body image, etc.? A Love Thyself program.
You're doing it. That's what NuCalm is. So we often talk the autonomic nervous system. Okay, you have two nervous systems: the central nervous system, the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system manages your fear, worry, anxiety, depression, and stress. That's what it does. So when you are thinking poorly about yourself, it's a negative consequence in the accumulation of all these network of experiences, and your central nervous system has a great memory. It doesn't like humiliation. It doesn't like shame. It doesn't like guilt. So it activates these triggers, and it's a self-sabotage, okay? We call it the itty bitty shitty committee. We all have it. It's that committee behind our eyes that tells us all this stuff. We don't look good. We're shameful. We're insecure. We're not going to be well received. People won't like us. They don't trust us. They don't love us. Whatever that is, it's all garbage. It's all the primordial 40 million year old reptilian brain sabotaging our ability to activate blood flow here in the frontal and prefrontal cortex, where you do love yourself, you do feel confident, you do accept yourself, you're not judgmental, you are present, you are who you are, accept who you are. The more you do NuCalm, the more we flush oxygen-rich red blood to the frontal and prefrontal cortex. The more we do that, the more we lessen the grip of the autonomic nervous system. Keep using NuCalm. It is the tool designed to help you with your network of experiences, with that emotional sabotage. And over the course of time, you will come to a level of acceptance. You will lose judgment. You will lose expectation, and you'll feel good about who you are today, where you're going, what you're doing, and the people around you who choose to be of lower consciousness and judge you and have all these things that are negative. Choose your friends and the people around you wisely. Okay, because not everybody's on this journey with you, but NuCalm is the perfect tool to help elucidate what you do love about yourself.
This question is from Alan. For someone who semi-regularly suffers from waking up in the middle of the night and finds it difficult to return to sleep, I am wondering if or how NuCalm can best be used as a return to sleep aid.
Okay, once again, it can be done. It is effective. We are reluctant to cast a wide net and say, hey, most people should do this, but we do. On a side, if you called us up and said, hey, give me some guidance, we'd give you the 15-minute rule. The 15-minute rule is simple. You wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, your liver's activated, it creates adrenaline, you have to pee, your prostate's growing, whatever. Okay. You get up to pee, your mind starts, and you sit there perseverating over stuff, and then you start getting agitated. Okay. Maybe you want to put NuCalm on. You don't need the disc, you don't need the eye mask. You just need some element to help facilitate the return back to sleep. You can try that. This is a trial and error piece specific to you at this time. It is not designed for that part of your life. But again, this is a tool. That's all it is. And it's a tool to help with you, your lifestyle, your biorhythm. If over the course of time, if I know I'm waking up at 3 and I'm not going back to sleep for 7 or 8 days in a row, I'm being compromised in my sleep. I'm going to try anything. That's a good tool, and certainly a better tool than taking a Z drug or some other drug that doesn't mimic sleep architecture and simply suppresses the central nervous system and knocks you out. So stay away from the meds. Those aren't helpful. Stay away from tech. Do not put any tech on at 3 o'clock in the morning, because once you activate the blue light, stimulate your brain, you're going to lose melatonin and some of the key nutrients you need for sleep. You can try NuCalm and definitely go with a rescue track and just put it on and see what happens.
This is from Jeff. I struggle with sleep issues and low cortisol levels. Does NuCalm increase cortisol or help to lower it? If it lowers it, then is it best to do it later in the day?
Awesome question. So the cortisol piece is really the adrenals, the thyroid. There's the whole endocrine system that's really important here. Chances are you've been sympathetically driven for most of your life and you've worn out your gas tank. That happens to a lot of people. We see that a lot. Comorbidity with disease, the terminal disease, high stress, fear, all that stuff, and it just wears down your gas tank. That's your adrenals. Low cortisol is typically the result of that. It means it's hard for you to activate. You're lethargic mentally and physically, and you're just exhausted. NuCalm will absolutely help balance the autonomic nervous system, thus in turn help restore the endocrine system. We've done a lot of work and seen a lot of benefit to balancing the autonomic nervous system, which results in balancing the endocrine system, which puts your adrenals back into play. So most people that we see with disease have the comorbidity of adrenal fatigue and thus low cortisol. This will help regulate all of that. So this is a self-regulation tool that helps the ecosystem of your body, which is compensatory in nature. It'll help it get back to its normal state and normative functioning. So yes, this will absolutely help with cortisol, low or high, adrenal fatigue, high or low as well.
How should I use NuCalm with workouts, before or after?
Both. Before, the strength of oxygenation, removing lactic acid, lowering inflammation, increases your endurance, your focus, and your strength. After is when your muscle recovery is so important. So mentally, physically, you want that recovery. Maybe allow those endorphins and all the good things that happen with athletic performance. Let it kind of do its thing. Recover first. I wouldn't get all crazy and then be sweaty and get right in bed. So maybe 30 minutes after you perform whatever, but before you work out, probably an hour. We typically, for a professional athlete, we say don't do NuCalm, within the hour window before you want to perform, because we want you hypervigilant and we want your adrenals really pumped. So maybe Anytime before, an hour before you work out, and then probably an hour after you work out. But you can do it twice. There's no overdoing NuCalm. NuCalm, if you compared it to meditation, there's no such thing as a meditation injury. There's no such thing as a NuCalm injury. You cannot overuse NuCalm. It doesn't work that way. Your body will take what it wants, and you're done when you're done. But you can use it twice a day, 3 times a day.
I've got several questions here from Gary. What is the timing of the NuCalm program for the sleep product?
Somebody's been sniffing around the enterprise, because that's in the hidden vault of goodies. We have a platform, okay? NuCalm is not the only horse we're going to ride to save the world. Not at all. We have a platform. The physics and the complexity of the platform, we can do anything we want. So we already have in the mix, we already have a sleep track and the physics behind it. We've had it for 6 years. We've been testing it, refining it, and it's in the vault. We have focus, which is 15 to 20 hertz. We've tested, refined it. We do some work with professional athletes with the focus track. And we have Ignite Warrior Brain, which is the antithesis of anything relaxing, drives your brainwave function up into gamma to 39 to 40 hertz, activates your sensory motor rhythm, elicits dopamine, and prepares you for performance, battle, whatever that is. We have all these elements. I think David is the chief business officer, so he's the person who's going to tell you the timing. But my understanding is that Ignite will be the next commercial opportunity for you to get access to the Neuroacoustic software platform. Sleep is after Ignite. So we have a lot going on. We basically restructured and built a direct-to-consumer product that's more portable and more affordable over 4.5 years of work and millions of dollars of research. We are now serving thousands upon thousands of people a week instead of 2,000 a year at $5,000. So we're focused right now on NuCalm, but behind the scenes in our vault of goodies, we have all these opportunities, and we're constantly testing and retesting and using them on the military and professional athletes and all these other areas. Sleep is coming. There's some work that we need to do to perfect the disc side of the technology, which will probably incorporate L-theanine, melatonin, and gamma-aminobutyric acid. But it's coming, and I don't know if it'll be this calendar year, but it's coming soon. And if it's not this calendar year, probably by mid-2022.
Okay, we have some basic housekeeping questions from our customer support team that fielded these questions. Can one pause the shipment of discs for a certain time but maintain access to the app?
Through the app, you cannot. Through calling us up and seeking first to understand and figuring this out, yes, I'm sure we can work something out.
I would like to be able to see my usage and which tracks I rated best so that I can ensure I use them again.
That data specificity, opportunity, transparency is coming. We've built out the architecture. Our whole goal in moving from a class 3 medical device that sold for $5,000 plus to this monthly and annual subscription was to bring to market a rich catalog, easy to use product and get it here. From there, once we created all this synergy and got this to launch on October 14th, 2020, now comes the fun stuff. Now we get to put money, time, effort, and resources into further expanding the education, hand-holding the customer journey, making this really user-friendly and really a great tool for you. So I think people have identified with the need and desire for data, for the quantified self. We're aware of it. We built the architecture behind the scenes. We're now, and it's in the mix. I know that our development team is already working on this stuff. That's coming soon.
Yeah, just for the audience tonight, you have to start somewhere. And we used our mastermind group. We have over 1,000 people who are consumers, not related to the company at all. And we surveyed them intensively the first 90 days of the experience. So that's how we built the program we built and launched with. But we're very eager for customer feedback. We're very eager to understand what's the most suitable way to provide, an easy, stress-free partnership, if you will. So that kind of data, and Monica, who's on this call, is going to be doing probably a whole suite of surveys to start understanding the business model and make it more suitable for you. We don't know.
I was actually just going to say at the end of the call that I'm going to put my email address in the chat, and I would love to hear feedback from people on things they like about the app or don't like about the app. This is specifically just about the app, not questions about usage necessarily, but what enhancements you would like to see in it, what kind of data you'd like to see. if you have any suggestions, please share them with me. So I'll put my email address in the chat at the end of the call.
Thank you. We're nearing the end, so I would do that sooner than later, Monica.
Okay.
And then Erica said that there was a question about in the chat about someone who left the disc on all night. When they woke up, there was a rash where the disc is. Jim, can you explain how that may happen?
A rash or just a red mark? So the rash, you know, everybody's biochemistry is different. Your skin's the biggest organ on the body, nutritionally based. A lot of rashes are the response of nutrition. The disc has a 3M hypoallergenic, high quality adhesive. We haven't seen a lot of allergic reactions to it. In fact, probably less than a handful over the course of 2 years now. The redness is a result of your body literally sucking the life out of that disc. Your body knows what it needs, what it wants, and when it gets access to GABA. Most humans are deficient in GABA. The autism spectrum, Asperger's, is all deficiency in GABA. GABA is the body's primary inhibitory neurotransmitter that is actually created in your brain and is also extracted from food. But in the last 30 to 40 years, our food has become less food, thus less balanced and more acidic. So most of us on this planet are deficient in GABA. When you apply the disc, your body will suck the GABA out of that disc. There are numerous times for all of us, when you do NuCalm for 30, 40, 50 minutes, it's difficult to get the disc off. Literally, your body's like, we need this. We understand it. We identify it. We want it. So if you slept with it and you had it on for 8 or 9 hours, your body is absorbing a lot of the GABA. I don't know the profundity of the rash, but I suspect it looks just like a bullseye and it's specific to the area that the disc was in. And it's simply the body's result of working, creating an inflamed response by sucking the life out of the energy that was in that disc.
Yeah, please contact us directly. We're very eager to learn more and obviously work with you to help figure this out. Last question, and please, if you submitted questions and we didn't get to it, I want to honor the fact that we're only 30 minutes past our time that we offered. So this is from Tom. Is there any benefit to listening to the tracks without using the disc?
Absolutely, there is. There's benefit to any of the 3 components by themselves. When we entertained the USPTO and went through the process for 4.5 years of evaluating irrefutable, quantified, validated evidence from the best scientists in the world, Dr. Holloway did not invent GABA. The brain did. He didn't invent an eye mask. He didn't invent neuroacoustic software. What he invented was a systematic approach designed expressly to create deep cellular restoration recovery by suspending your brainwave function in theta. But to do that, we're asking a lot of a technology to manage the human brain. We need all 3 components. And what we showcased in all of our research was that 1 + 1 + 1 did not equal 3. In NuCalm, 1 + 1 + 1 equaled like 7. So the combination of the synergy is exceptionally powerful. However, if you took just a disc by itself, it will have an impact and a contribution to relaxation. If you put the eye mask on, it will have a relaxation response and a contribution to that experience. And if you just listen to the neuroacoustic software, it will have that response. Combined is NuCalm. Take apart any of the 3 legs of the stool, it's a much less efficacious. The disc, remember, is the catalyst to ensure that every time you do NuCalm, you have a predictable, safe, fast-acting, deep experience. Without this, we have to override your body's natural resistance in the form of adrenaline. We don't know how stressed out you are that day. We don't know how active your metabolic rate is when you're stressed out. We don't know what we have to overcome. But if you look at neurobiofeedback and other stimulation opportunities in the therapeutic milieu of helping people, they've never been predictable across one person, certainly not across the population. And it's because they did not take a systematic approach. They took a stimulation approach or a measurement approach. You have to take all 3 together. That is NuCalm. Without it, you're not really doing NuCalm. But each element by themselves is a contributor.
Excellent. Well, let's wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Thank you, Jim, for spending so much time and energy and for your brief 20-minute intro. It's almost 9:30 and this is recorded. We will make it available. And please, by all means, and like Monica said, we're very interested, eager to learn more from each and every one of you. The more you share, the more feedback we get, the better we get. And then we can do this together. Any last words from you, Jim Poole?
Yes. We love what we do. It's rare in life that you find your purpose that has such a profound impact on humanity. We're changing the world. Our objective is simple: change the world by changing the energy of the planet from negative to positive. And we do that through patented, clinically proven neuroscience solutions. We always want to make it easy. We want to make the experience good, but we want to have a profound impact on your ability to balance what humans normally can't do. I can't meditate. If you asked me to meditate or said, hey, you're going to die if you don't, then I'm going to die. I can't do it. I am incapable of doing it. I don't have any shame about it. I just accept it. NuCalm gives me that power to unplug and to balance me, to make me a better me. So my advice to you is use this tool. Use it, make it a part of who you are. You will notice an incredible change in who you are. You'll notice that little things that used to amount to big things don't amount to anything anymore. You'll notice that you're present. You'll notice that the time spent with loved ones is a time of quality observation, listening. You're there. You're living your life instead of thinking about the next thing or worrying about the past thing. Stop with the judgment. Stop with the expectation. These are sabotage elements of a form of humanity that existed millions of years ago, but the frontal cortex and prefrontal cortex haven't caught up yet. This tool levels the playing field. It's a great tool. It's predictable, safe, and easy, and it's a tool designed for you to take care of you and allow you to be liberated from stress, and the sky's the limit. When you get rid of the negativity of stress and poor sleep, you do whatever you want to do in life. And it's an honor for us to be here. It's a privilege for us to be here. We love this. We've helped so many people. It's amazing, rewarding job, obligation, honor, privilege. And we appreciate that you've joined the NuCalm family. We hope you share this not only with yourself, because your spouse and your children and your parents will notice the difference in you. And it won't take long. A couple experiences, you'll start noticing that you're interpreting things that used to stress you out or agitate you, and they don't. That's the consciousness of balancing the autonomic nervous system. So give this gift to yourself and be kind to yourself. We love you, and thanks for being part of the family.